Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital, and obviously, I mean, good afternoon. Welcome back to the middle of the day market updates. We're going to do a full update here on markets, what's going on, what the different possibilities are, and then my personal opinion, obviously based on the data we have, on which of those two scenarios is most likely. So that's what we're going to do. Overall, before we talk about fundamentals, which is usually what I start these videos off with. The structure here, especially for the last couple of days, especially yesterday, but today is a little bit different, but still, the structure has been relatively stable. Also today, even though we found balance slightly higher than yesterday, that was like over the course of this Asian session into the European session as well, we actually gained some strength. So that's what you can see right here. But ultimately, there is a lot of stability, and in general, we're also waiting for some sort of development fundamentally to hopefully get some lasting direction. For now, the direction is obviously still up, but can we still expect more upwards direction? That remains to be seen. And at the moment, the most likely answer is probably no. If you take a look at the S&P 500, for example, it's up over the course of today, but it's at the same levels as it was yesterday. And we just filled the gap, bounced from there. But this is also relatively stable. So that really means that we're waiting for something that's going to make the markets move. Like I said, we'll take a look at Bitcoin with a little bit more detail in a moment. But at this point of time, Bitcoin is still looking more bullish than bearish. But still, I'm not certain if we're going to be strong enough to, without any change, break through. Now, tomorrow, I quickly wanted to remind you, because I did say this on Sunday and Monday as well. Tomorrow we have Jerome Powell speaking. We had some economic data today, but I don't think it matters that much. I mean, import prices, maybe it matters, but the tariffs haven't really taken effect yet. And then tomorrow we have retail sales, and the Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve speaking. So I will try to live stream that. I cannot I'm not certain if I'll be able to, but I'll try to. And what's being said in there can actually shake up the markets quite a bit about what he says about monetary policy. So that's one of the events I'm kind of looking at right now. Like, could that be enough to either get a push through or that we get a deeper pullback? Because talking about Bitcoin right here, and by the way, Bitcoin, like the Coinbase Bitcoin price here, is also still at a premium. So that also makes me slightly still bullish on Bitcoin. But that is nothing different from what I said this morning. But ultimately, when we zoom out here and we're going to do, and we're looking at the structure here for Bitcoin, the two main levels that kind of come from the screen are first this level right here between 86,000 and 87,000. That's our main resistance level. That's also the previous range value area high right here, but you can also see it's a relatively well respected level. Broke above that once, but that was more of a fake out, and we want to break above that to get a move into that level right here at 88,000, conservative target, but that's where we made some poor highs, so we do need to retest that. But ultimately also into this major level between 90 and 92,000 to test the bottom of the range we had, obviously, from November until the end of February. So we either want to do that, or we're going to drop down all the way back down to and for that I'll look at the 4-hour time frame. We're going to drop down and we're going to fill some imbalances, or we're going to test some important levels right here towards 82,000 and 80,500. Those are the two scenarios. Now, like I said this morning on Bitcoin, at the moment, given the way the price action has developed over the last couple of days, I'm fairly neutral. I still think if we take a look at the technicals and the way that Bitcoin has been respecting and bouncing from support here, kind of compressing against that resistance level in combination with relatively strong stock markets, and then also after the opening a relatively bearish, or at least a volatility index that's dropping down, and bond yields that are also dropping down slightly, that creates a fundamental environment which makes me think, in combination with what we're seeing technically, that it's most likely we're going to break out here. But I do want to be clear that I don't see enough indications of breaking out yet, and I do think you need to be careful for a scenario like this, right? So that we get some sort of a bull trap into that. We are never going to be able to get that retest, and that from there we're going to fill those imbalances to the downside. There are a lot of different scenarios here, and you basically need to be prepared for all of them. And at this point of time, it doesn't really strike me that one of all of those scenarios is by far the most likely one, right? So like I said, I think it's most likely that we'll continue this compression and that we will be able to get a move into previous highs, but I don't see enough indication to trade this, all right? And my trading bias is still long, but I am still looking at coins that are relatively uncorrelated to Bitcoin. Now, taking a look at XRP, I don't think much has changed for XRP specifically. It's also compressing against resistance here. For XRP, I think the chances of getting some sort of a pullback before getting that breakout is still most likely, so that is what I think you need to be prepared for. But the main level is right here at 2.2, 2.18. So if we're able to break above that with volume, this pullback is not even necessary, and you can just long from the retest. Again, be careful of the fake out, all right? We do need to get some sort of a retest or a move above that level with volume before I would trust it. Now, talking about altcoins, like I said, I mean, a lot of altcoins right here, as you can see, are very correlated to Bitcoin. So there's not many altcoins that I'd say, all right, well, that's interesting. WCT looks quite interesting. That's a Wallet Connect that just got listed on Binance. There's quite a lot of volume coming in here, so this is definitely risky to trade, but it's at least uncorrelated, and there's a lot of volume and volatility going on, so that's interesting as well. Then outside of that, Mantra or Ohm, which obviously had that massive crash on Sunday, still has a huge amount of volume. If you want to gamble, then trade that. Then outside of that, there's not much that I would say, all right, well, that is something we need to keep an eye on. There's been some moves definitely over the course of today, for example, on Lista, Popcat, Anime, but there's nothing that I really want to show you right now as something you need to keep your eyes on. So if anything like that comes up, I'll probably post about it on X, so make sure to follow me on there if you're interested in that. And otherwise, I'll be back with new updates, well, either today if we actually get some major movements, or tomorrow. So for now, thank you for watching, take care, and bye.